Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MathChat, the live call-in show that answers all your questions. I'm Frank Morgan, professor of mathematics at Williams College, and for this year at Princeton University. And as my special guest tonight, I have Professor Freeman Dyson of the Institute for Advanced Study. Welcome. It's great to have you here on the show tonight. We're going to have some fun, I think. And I want to also recognize out there the MathChat staff out in the audience. I see Derek Smith will be answering the phones tonight. We'll be looking forward to your calls here. Ralph Thomas is on the control panel. Jade Vincent is keeping time. Ray Marquand on camera. Adrian Banner is in charge of the audience here tonight. So we're going to have our usual array of questions, answers, prizes. I think we're going to have a great show in store. And we wanted to start out, I guess we had a question for them, which I got this idea from reading your book, actually, on imagined worlds, which predicted, I guess, what would happen in 1,000 years?
Well, it doesn't really predict anything. It's just, it's all imagination. It's just telling stories about things that might conceivably happen, not that one predicts them. But in any case, it does go all the way from 1,000 to 1,000,000.
To 1,000,000. So there's a good question, ladies and gentlemen. What predictions can you make for what will happen in 1,000,000 years from today? And Professor Dyson and I will judge the best answer and have a prize for the best answer. And in fact, the best answer to this, MathChat will award a copy of Professor Dyson's book, Imagined Worlds, which perhaps you will autograph?
Oh, sure.
Autograph to the winner. So there's a real challenge, folks. And people in back, you're welcome to come on in and join us here in our studio audience. We've got a big audience, excited audience here tonight. They'll be participating in this question. So that's one question we're going to be asking. What happens 1,000,000 years from today? What happens 1,000,000 years from today? We'd also like to pick up on a question that we had continuing from last week, namely the greatest all-time scientists. And in particular, if you can guess some from Professor Dyson's list, he had some scientists who had caused conceptual revolutions and others who used tools that caused scientific revolutions.
Right. And I like the tools better than the concepts.
I like the concepts.
That just happens to be... It's a matter of taste, of course. Anybody may either like or dislike whatever they please. But for me, the tools are, in fact, what it's all about.
So we want to hear your proposals on this one, too. We want to hear your proposals on this one, whom you think, whom you want to select as greatest scientist of all time. So we'll be taking questions on that in just a second. And we have one other carryover question, too. Why is it that mirrors reverse left and right and not top and bottom?
Well, I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Well, let's not give too much away yet. Or don't they? So there's a question, but certainly you've looked in the mirror and seen this curious image of yourself, who seems, however, to like to use his left hand instead of his right hand. So that's or her left hand instead of her right hand. So that's a curious thing that's going on. Actually, and I'd like to talk about, we've gotten lots of answers on this already, and some of them are kind of fun. So we'll talk about some of those. Oh, and Michael has a comment. Yes, Michael?
Well, all the objects we see seem to be up and down and switched around, but our brain puts them in the right place, and somehow I think that our image might be upside down, but our brain just flips it.
So here's something interesting. Michael's pointing out that right, the eye does reverse everything. Right?
Yes.
There's a certain thing in your eye, and everything gets reversed, and then what? Your brain corrects it.
Correct. And that's why the thing in the mirror, which really has its right hand in the right place, looks to you as though it has its right hand on the wrong side, but it's actually on the right side.
But everything else gets fixed up by the brain, so the world looks right to us. Why is it that things in the mirror get reversed left, right, and not up, down to our sense of things? I think there's still some mystery there in my mind. Still some mystery there in my mind. And I have so we'll be taking your calls on those questions tonight. And before we get too many calls here, I wanted to mention a few things that are coming up. This Thursday is Thanksgiving, and we wish the entire audience, listening audience, a happy Thanksgiving. And next week's show, my student co-host will be Adrian Banner, a week from today, the one who's in charge of the audience here tonight. So there are some things coming up, but we hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Also have our weekly wacky wordy we'll be getting to in a minute. So we'll be getting, I see people in the audience already getting excited about that. But first of all, we want to hear some answers on what's happening in a million years. And we've got a caller right now.
Good.
Go ahead. You're live on MathChat. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Kevin Clark with some feedback.
So Kevin, welcome.
Okay, so I'm moving away from... Okay, that's the feedback. Anyway,
We can hear you good. No problem.
I've got some stuff on the mirror question.
On the mirror question.
The mirror
All right.
question,
Well, what do you
yes.
say, Kevin? Why is that?
Well, it doesn't really reverse anything. It's just that the human perspective of right and left is very, very, very dependent on where you actually are, as opposed to, let's say, using a basic reference point to decide right and left.
Uh-huh.
And the mirror just flips that around, and so your right hand is still on your right, but it looks like it's actually on your left. But that's just not how it works.
So I see. So you look in the mirror. You look in the mirror, and maybe let's say you're facing north.
Yeah.
Then your east hand is
Yeah.
reflected, and in the mirror,
Yeah.
it's the image's east hand.
Yes.
It's just that his east hand is his left hand,
Yes.
and my east hand is my right hand.
Yes.
But why is that? Why is my east hand my right hand and
Well-
his east hand his left hand?
Okay.
What is it that's different about him
Well-
that's making those hands, which are really on the same side, look different?
Well, there are some. This is just a weird example that I have. There are these stickers, and you stick them on windows, and they look the same from the both sides because the background is sort of clear. And from one side, it looks like it's a right hand doing something, or something like that. And from the other side, it looks like it's a left hand.
Yes?
And
Why is that?
well, it's because you're looking from a different side. The mirror is not actually doing the inverting.
Oh,
It's
because
not
you're
actually
looking.
inverting anything, but
So you're looking. So somehow you're facing the opposite direction.
yes, well, sort of.
Okay. Well, it's the best call so far on that, Kevin. So be sure to leave your name and address.
I've got some other stuff too, like on the million years thing.
Oh, you've got a million-year entry. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
I think we're all going to die from nuclear winter very soon. Because I have very little faith in the major world governments, so I think we're all going to die.
So there won't be any people around,
Yeah.
but maybe people will develop again by then, in a million years.
Well, it took us long enough to develop the first time.
Yeah? You don't think it'll happen again?
Not in a
soon?
million years.
Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin.
Okay, sure.
And be sure to, when you go off the air, you can leave your name with our staff and
Okay, I will.
address, so we'll have that. Okay, thanks a lot for calling. And callers, you're welcome to call in. In fact, we have a backup line tonight, just in case. We're at 258-1291, MathChat. Welcome to call in. We've got a lot of eager people out in the audience there. You want to pick one of them?
Yep, let's have this one.
I have a comment. I'd like to.
This is Carter, I think.
Right. I'd like to add on to what Kevin was saying about the stickers that look funny when you look at them different ways. What comes to mind is the Princeton decal that they send to all of us when we get in here and to put it on the back of our car. Well, see, it looks great to the people that are behind you. Obviously, the ones you want to know that you go to Princeton or that your parents want to know that you go to Princeton. But then when you actually wheel your head around and look out the back window at traffic or something, the decal's reversed. So that brought to my mind the book by Lewis Carroll, when like his companion to Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass. Maybe that's the way to imagine a mirror. In some way, it's as if you walk through it and then turn around and look back at yourself, and somehow. But I just think that it's interesting to sort of look at it the way Lewis Carroll.
Oh, yeah, very interesting. So Carter refers to Lewis Carroll's book, Through the Looking Glass. And he says that the mirror image, it's sort of like walking through the mirror and then looking back through it and facing the other way.
Yeah, you notice the looking glass clock goes around the wrong way. And
Goes counterclockwise.
Yes. So the 3 is on the wrong side and the 9 is on the wrong side. That's, in fact, the easiest way to tell about why the left and right are interchanged, because if you imagine your face is a clock dial, then in fact the 3 is your left hand and the 9 is your right hand. And that's the easiest way to tell left and right. And if you look at at yourself in the mirror, of course, the clock is going the other way, so therefore the hands are going the other way.
Yeah, very good. All right. We've got another comment here in back, I see. Yeah, go ahead. Your name is?
I'm Doc Harris.
Doc.
Doc.
Doc, yeah. Hi, welcome. Yeah.
Following up on your notion of the hands and the compass, if you're facing the north, and you know your face is towards the north side of you, your right hand will be on the east and your left hand will be on the west, and then your mirror will be towards the south. But if you're facing a mirror and you have that orientation, that alignment, the mirror has its face on the south, and there's rear in the north. Therefore, your east hand is corresponding to its east hand. However, right and left correspond to the way that you're facing. Therefore, if you're facing south, the west would be obviously on your right, and the east would be on your left.
Yeah, so this is a great comment, I guess. So this all goes back to this idea that the reason that left and right seem reversed is because your mirror image, it's not that the hand is on the different side, it's that you're facing the opposite way. And what mirrors really do, I guess, is switch front and back. They don't switch left and right or top and bottom. They switch front and back.
Correct.
Yeah? All right, so we got a good answer there. I think that's the best answer so far. I think Doc's ahead on this mirror prize, but we haven't gotten, and so far the caller, Kevin, is ahead on the million years. Nobody else has predicted anything else on that, I guess. And we've got another Kathy here in the audience.
Can I make a prediction on the million years?
Is going to make a million-year prediction.
Good.
Kathy from the Dean's office.
I'm more optimistic than Kevin about the future of the human race, so I'll assume that somehow we survive. I think that the human race will evolve some new sense that we can't predict yet, and further, that it will then evolve an art form to celebrate that new sense in the same way that music appeals to our auditory sense and art to our visual. So we have something wonderful to look forward to.
Good.
Wow, isn't that neat?
No, I would certainly go along with that. It seems to me most likely we won't be just one species anymore. We'll be all kinds of different species. And that's, of course, goes with having new senses and having new arts and all kinds of...
Let me just tell the television audience who may not have heard that the comment from the audience was about, in a million years, humanity would develop a new sense in addition to sight and hearing, and a new art form to go with it in addition to painting and music. And sorry, you were saying we'd have a new species, several species?
Yeah, it's very likely that we shall, in fact, evolve into, as other creatures have in the past, into several different kinds of animals. So we can be several different kinds of intelligent creatures, and that will make life, of course, much more interesting in all sorts of ways. Maybe we better move away from this planet, perhaps, otherwise we may have major social problems. But apart from that, anyhow, this is the kind of turmoil I look forward to.
Now, the thing I don't understand about continued evolution is that I thought evolution works in favor of things which tend to make you have more children. And it's hard for me to see what evolution, what factors bear on that in modern society. You know, why should developing the sixth sense means that you're going to have more children?
Well, why should we be able to write string quartets in the first place? That obviously our faculties are not all concerned with making the most children. By some miracle, we have all these wonderful faculties which don't have any obvious survival value.
No, but I don't...
Hearing can keep you from being run over in the street. For instance, we right now have 2 deaf cats whom we cannot allow outside because they'll be run over in the street because they can't hear the cars. So similarly, this new sense could protect you from some danger that has arrived.
I guess that's
at the same time,
right.
could be the source of this new art.
I guess that's right. So the comment from the audience just now was that this new sense might well, just as hearing does, protect you from being run over by a car. Oh yeah, we've got lots of comments here. So let's see, we haven't yet heard from Jason.
Well, my idea kind of combines both of those. And I picture
Can you hear any of this? Can you pick those up, any of these comments?
as humans develop new modes of transportation and possibly over the course of a million years, I feel they probably will populate some other planet, perhaps just take Mars as the common example. And I think that perhaps some semi-catastrophic event will detach Earth and Mars from that, perhaps a meteor strike or something will make it impossible to travel between the two for a long period of time, and that'll cause each new culture to develop into a different species, as they have to face new things and perhaps develop a new sense to survive on Mars without supplies from Earth or things like that.
Wow, that sounds exciting. Evolution from dangers in distant homes in space, yeah? You like that one?
Well, it makes sense, certainly. So let's hear again from Michael.
Well, there's a few things that I think could happen. Maybe we could make a mistake out of all these machines, and all the machines could just develop a way of making other machines and high-tech weapons, and then turn against people and shoot and have a war against us. And we could all die off from something, maybe we'll run out of food, or Earth will just, the ozone layer will just go away somehow, and everybody will die from too much heat and stuff. And
What about machines turning against us and wiping us out?
Well, of course, everything is possible. We better watch out. That's clear. I think we're probably quite good at taking care of ourselves, but you never know.
Actually, we have a little prize here that Michael earned some weeks ago, and we haven't had a chance to give him yet. So if you'd like to come up, Michael, you can come right up behind us here. This is a little puzzle book that I had promised you, remember? And maybe you'd be interested. Here's just one sample of the problems in here. Here, maybe you want to read that. Can you read that there to everybody, or do you want me to read it?
this one.
Uh-huh.
My smart daughter needed $12.50, but only had a $10 bill. She pawned the $10 bill for $7.50, and then sold the $10 pawn ticket to her brother for $5. Then she had her $12.50. Who lost on the deal?
That's pretty good, huh? Look, I think you've stumped everyone there, Michael. You may have to bring that one back next week. Maybe you'll give them another chance, huh? That's pretty confusing. But anyway, congratulations. Good answer. Yes, right. So, there were a couple other books I wanted to mention tonight. You go to the bookstore and all you see is Dyson all over on all the shelves there. I saw this one by your daughter Esther about the web and the net.
Yeah, release
book.
2.0, yes. Well, I'm happy. This is a commercial now. You should tell the audience that we're going into the commercial period.
I think, especially intrigued at the end where she had the boldness to give kind of advice about what virtues pay off on the web. So it was end of technological skills, and at the end, finally, virtues about using your own judgment, disclose yourself, contribute to the communities you love, assert your rights and respect those of others.
Yeah, she is in fact much more interested in people than in gadgets. She doesn't really know much about computers, actually, but she knows a lot about people.
So I love this one especially. Don't get into silly fights. Which is, I think, one of the great flaws. We get all excited. We're sure we're right down to the nth detail. We get all caught up in that, So I thought that was really good. And so you look there. And then in the next shelf is this book by your son George about Darwin among the machines.
Yeah, that's actually a very fine book. I'm not altogether unbiased. It's a history which telling how we got where we are on a very broad scale. It starts about 300 years ago and looks at how the ideas behind the computer revolution developed. It has a lot of wisdom in it.
Yeah, very interesting book. So these are all recommended, folks. All recommended, and we may give a couple of those away tonight, I think. And then, of course, the Atlantic Monthly. you have the cover story here this week too, right? Colonizing the solar system.
Well, the real title is inside. It's actually, that wasn't my title. The real title is Freeze-Dried Fish and Warm-Blooded Plants. This was, in fact, a talk I gave here at Forbes about a year ago. Some of you might even have been here.
I didn't realize we had warm-blooded plants, but we have those already.
Well, not really. This is, of course...
No, but was it something like the cabbage? Didn't you say the cabbage is slightly...
Slightly warm-blooded, yes.
Slightly warm-blooded.
So you were here, yes.
No, I read it in the magazine.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty, but freeze-dried fish, I guess maybe we have those on Earth, but
Yeah, the
that's
idea
a
is
more
looking
interesting
for
story,
the,
yeah.
what I'm telling is that people should look for them in space.
Right? You think there's life in space? Don't bother going to these distant planets and trying to land and all. Look for some freeze-dried fish in space.
Right.
They splashed out of somewhere.
Splashed out of the ocean, yes.
On Europa or something, perhaps, yes? Isn't that a great idea? See, that's where you look for fish. Freeze-dried fish in space. Well, I think it's time for us to award the future prize here. I think it's time to award the book now. And you're going to have to decide between Kathy, who suggested a new sense and a new art form, and Jason, who suggested mankind being splintered up among planets and all kinds of adventures and developing into new species.
Yes, so I vote for Kathy.
Well, your vote counts here, I think. So why don't we have, so maybe you can inscribe this right now, and we'll have Kathy come up to Kathy, that's K-A, oh, you've got even a pen there, to Kathy. Look at this, come on up behind here, Kathy. On the spot there, to Kathy, with congratulations, or whatever you want to say.
First prize!
First prize, it says. Well, this new art form, now can you imagine anything about what this sense might be like?
No, none at all.
You know, I was thinking of something. So, you know, the thing about sight is the color. The thing about sound is the tonality. So I think what I'd like to see in this new sense is several different scales like that. Not just color, but a kind of color and tonality. And so congratulations, Kathy. Yes, that's great. And now, what other contests did we have here tonight? Yes, so congratulations. And we also had the one about the mirror. Now, in the mirror, we had a call, remember, about left and right not really switch because east stays east. And then we had the explanation from Doc here in the audience that the reason that left and right seem to be switched is that front and back are actually switched. So one of those two has a prize coming.
So am I supposed to award it?
And you'll have to make the decision.
So I'd say Doc. I thought he did very well.
Doc completely explained that, yes. And Doc, would you like to come up and get one of these books? Sure. So you can have your choice, either Esther on the web, or this more historical, philosophical perspective. Come on up behind us here, on Darwin and the Machines by George Dyson.
How about Darwin and the Machines?
Okay, Darwin and the Machines.
Great.
You know, this signature is going to be worth a lot someday.
I work a lot right now.
Yeah, I guess that's true, isn't it? It's worth a lot right now. Right, that's what I sometimes say about mine. It's going to be worth a lot someday. But this one's worth something right now.
It's D-O-K.
D-O-K.
Oh.
That's it. Great. Yeah, see? Time memorial. That's going to be worth something. Now, I promised this wacky wordy, so while he's signing there, I've got to put this up here, too. So we can see that. We see the words center and far here. Center, we see first center, and then we see far. So we're going to take calls on that, and then maybe someone from the audience. So, Doc, what are you doing here at Princeton?
I'm probably going to try to be a physics major.
So you're, right now, an undergraduate. What year?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman here at Forbes College.
Yes, I am.
All right, excellent. Freshman here at Forbes. So the future of math and Forbes has some promise to it, so that looks good. And this, when did you first understand mirrors? You couldn't have done that on the spot here, huh?
Actually, in middle school, we had a series of lectures from Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science where we worked with mirrors and other types of things. So.
Well, still, that was a brilliant answer. I think that's really great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Great to have. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Excellent answer there. And now we have the center far. Yeah, congratulations, Doc. And we're going to wait just a minute for a call on this seat. We can't take too long. Now, if you want to tell your friends to tune in, if they missed this show tonight and you want to tell them about it, this show will be rebroadcast tomorrow, Tuesday night at 8:30, Friday evening at 9 p.m., and Sunday evening again at 8:30 p.m. So you'll have a chance to direct all your friends to tune in. We've got a caller here, though, right now. You're live on MathChat. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm calling with the Wordy.
All right. Who's calling?
This is Brett.
Brett? Okay, welcome, Brett. You think you know what this means, huh?
Yeah. Is it far right of center?
Far right of center. The audience says yes. The audience is saying yes. I think you've got it there, Brett. And as your prize, you can have a choice of, well, let's see, what should we do tonight? What should we do? Of course, we have the standard Flatland prize. That's our standard Flatland prize. Or a Forbes T-shirt. We have these Forbes T-shirts, which were worn by one of the famous all-time associates of fellows at Forbes College, Professor Fred Almgren, who just passed on last year. This is very appropriate tonight, though, because his wife happens to be visiting in the audience. Jean Taylor, mathematician from Rutgers University, is here in the audience. So
I'd like to point out that from your perspective, that's far left of center.
Far left of center. So she points out she got the mirror question in on this seat too. That was pretty tricky. Far left of center. So we have these T-shirts, white and gray, and we have a puzzle book here. Are you looking? I suppose if you argued, we might let you have this Dyson book. Well, anyway, what would you like here tonight? What would you like here tonight, Brett?
Which is the Dyson book?
Well, there's this book by Esther Dyson about the web called Release 2.0.
Well, maybe I'll take the first book that you showed, the puzzle one.
The puzzle book? Yes, this puzzle potpourri.
No, the yellow colored one.
The Flatland book.
Flatland.
Yes. And are you here at Forbes College? All right, good. So if you want to stop by after the show, we'll give it to you, all right?
All right, I'll be right down.
So this will be to Brett. And would you like this autographed by me or by Professor Dyson?
Professor Dyson, please.
All right, well, that's to Brett.
Okay.
To Brett. And so you can come by afterwards. And if you'd like, you can join us here for dinner, Brett, if you'd like.
Okay.
Just join us here for dinner if you'd like. That's quite an event you might look forward to. But I can hardly believe it. We're coming to the end of the show tonight. I have a little take-home gift for you to just say thanks so much for being on the show. Do you have, how much time do we have, folks, there? So we've just got to say thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week for the next edition of MathChat.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the show.